Hi everyone, this is Carvalho and I'm presenting on behalf of African Data Technologies. And I want to tell you a little bit about the work that we're developing around digital monitoring, reporting and verification for small community projects in Africa through the platform that we're developing, the ICALA Impact platform. So to start with, where did the idea come from? So it started from analyzing the new financing mechanisms that should be available for nature-based solutions and regenerative projects. It seemed like they were really promising and they could be a way to fund community projects worldwide. But when actually looking at the international certifications for, let's say, that would allow projects to sell on the carbon markets, for example, what we found was that these new financing mechanisms were not accessible to the reality of small community projects in Africa, regenerative or otherwise. And this had to do with many requirements that really aren't accessible to low resource environments or small teams that are really focused on working on the ground with people and doing the work in the field. For example, to get certain verifications, you would need to have a minimum of 300 hectares to even be able to apply for a carbon token program. You would have to verify all of your impact and carbon sequestration through European consultants, which obviously come with European consulting fees, which aren't accessible to the African reality. And also the amount of bureaucracy and paperwork that needs to be submitted to apply for international verification of your carbon credit is really too demanding on a small community project. But there we also saw the opportunity and the need for a new solution adapted to the African reality, which was where the ICALA Impact platform idea was born. And the idea behind the platform is to basically simplify this process for small regenerative projects in Africa. It is a climate tech Web3 platform that has its associated technology stack and quantification infrastructure to provide what we're calling Digital-MRV, or digital monitoring, reporting and verification, to all of these smaller regenerative nature-based solution projects. We want to help projects do the work, prove that they're having impact, and then get help to fund their continued work through these new financing mechanisms. So we are developing this in a very specific way, which is through what we're calling programs, which will be open source. So different types of nature-based projects, such as biochar or urban farms, or mob grazing, different types of ecosystem services will have different programs which work as the equivalent of software development kit, which is essentially a set of component methodologies that people can download onto the platform for the project that they are developing. It guides them through the implementation, all the things that they would need, then the monitoring of the project and all of the impacts that they would need to verify the co-benefits that they're achieving. It has, to show you a little bit about how the platform works, it has a simple mapping tool that allows you to just essentially draw your project on the map and add any kind of field notes that you might need. And then it automatically pulls data from GIS and ecosystem, open source ecosystem databases. Then you have also your programs dashboard, where you can see all the available open source programs for ecosystem services, and you can see what's required to apply to each of them. And you are free to apply to any available. And once you then get accepted, there is a process that starts with baseline, where we collect information about the initial state of the project, and then also guide the thought process of the person implementing. So that would be the project manager, to start thoroughly observing and considering all of the starting conditions that they have on the ground. We then move into the planning phase, where you get access to all the information about program-related needs and demands in the immediate areas surrounding the project, which is also important for the implementation and the planning. We again keep guiding the thought process to make a very detailed plan, considering all kinds of things that you would need for a nature-based project, such as the type of species that you will be working with, what kind of staff you'd need, any training, any maintenance, and when needed, provide contact information in the area around. Then moving into the phase where you are ready to implement, the platform allows you to collect and store data that proves that you have implemented and done the work to start the project on the ground. And it defines the time zero, the point where we compare all the further monitoring data that then counts to earning all of your impact tokens and benefit badges. Now, the most important part of being able to tokenize your impact has to do with MRV. So projects will get automatic prompts and forms to collect information on the activities that they are implementing on the ground as time goes by, and to the social and environmental impact that they achieve. The whole process is done through very simple forms. Most data is collected through a mobile app, which simplifies the process as much as possible. All the data is stored, and then it generates what we think is a very useful thing, which are automatic reports. All annual and monthly reports can be generated automatically through the platform from the data collected in the field by the teams doing the work. Yeah. So the mobile app is meant to be very intuitive, very easy to understand for the teams on the ground. And you will be able to easily use it offline as well and store data. Then each project has an associated ecosystem account that stores all field notes, all the user input data, and all the summaries of benefits and co-benefits that are achieved. And in our interactive session, we'll be showing you what this looks like in practice for the urban farming program that we're developing, and how we're trying to help the projects do it by trying to increase the number of projects or urban farms that are aligned with local needs. Then we're trying to help them prove it by creating the conditions that the funds spent on the fixed costs of projects, monitoring, reporting, verification, and intermediaries will be much lower, because a lot of it will be able to happen through the platform. And then finally, a very important point, getting projects help to fund it by helping them demonstrate the impact that they're having through the data that they submit, and then access funding and other types of support as well. So please join us on Saturday to hear a little bit about what this works, how this works, and how it has been applied on the ground, and how it's affecting projects on the ground.